Hey guys, so we're back again for another stocks by request. For those who are new to this channel, these are the top stocks that you guys sent out, you guys requested via social media. So this is where we talk about the stocks, talk about a bit of fundamentals, and more than fundamentals, we talk about what the charts are telling us, what past prices are showing us on how we can analyze the stock using technical analysis. So this session is basically a lot more for traders than investors. But if you want also a glimpse of some company input snippets or even the macro economy, we're gonna talk about it here in this channel as well. So, by the way, my name's Marvin Germo, and if you're new to this channel, super appreciate it if you can subscribe and smash that bell so you get updated every time I come up with new content about investing, about the stock market, and me analyzing stocks. The whole goal of this channel is to empower you, to equip you, not to give you picks, not to give you what you're supposed to buy, but to help you think, to help you analyze, to help you learn how to fish on your own. Because I really believe that the greatest strength of investing in the market is you having the conviction to do things, to decide things based on a set of parameters that you have defined on your own. So appreciate it, guys, if you can subscribe. Then I also have a second channel. It's called Marvin Germo Podcast. I place the link in the description, but that's where I'm gonna put all of the non-stock market content moving forward, from real estate to cryptocurrencies to the macroeconomy to mutual funds to insurances and everything else in between will be there. Now, we're going to talk about a lot of stocks in the Philippine market. But before I begin with that, no, I want to open up with this. And I'm not sure if you guys heard about it or if you guys watched it already, that Warren Buffett, Berkshire Hathaway, has sold down all of its airline shares. So I posted a video on Warren Buffett and his ideologies. So he said before, I've been following Warren Buffett for I think more than 14, 15 years already, that he said before that he would not touch airline stocks. He would not buy airline stocks. But he did something different in 2016, that he started gobbling up and buying those airline shares and making Berkshire Hathaway one of the largest shareholders on those airlines. So there are four major airlines in the US, and those four major airlines are basically United Airlines, American Airlines, Delta Airlines, etc. Southwest Airlines, I think, if I have not mentioned it yet. So the thing about that is this: he started buying a lot of it in 2016, but after buying a lot of it in 2016, he already disclosed in their annual stockholders meeting that he has sold down all of his positions in it. The thing about that is, part of that also was Warren Buffett sold those airline stocks even at a loss. So let me show you some of those, at least so you see it from the chart. This is Delta. If you notice it break down, started to consolidate at its lows. It did not even bounce as much. Then you have American Airlines here. American Airlines. There, breakdown, also consolidating in its lows. Then let's look at Southwest Airlines also. Southwest Airlines. So if you look at Southwest Airlines, you will also see almost the same thing. Southwest Airlines large breakdown. Then after the large breakdown, it started to consolidate, and majority of them are pretty much bearish as of this point in time. I'll just finish up with this so at least you have perspective, and at least you also see you also see that what's interesting about analyzing US stocks is that it's almost the same way as you analyze Philippine markets, because if you know how to analyze technical analysis, you can trade any market in the world. That's why you see a lot of people who trade Philippine stocks. They know how to trade forex. They know how to trade Bitcoin. Some know how to trade other stock markets in the world, because the way you analyze charts in a Philippine setting is the same way as what you analyze stocks in other markets as well. I have a link in the description for those who want to trade global markets, but this particular stocks by request is pretty much focused on Philippine stocks as well. So comment below if you think that the airline industry in the US will deteriorate even more, or you think at the second half of the year it will start to rebound. Please do note also that in this is happening in other countries also. In I think in the UK you have British Airways, Ryanair laying off people. Then you also have I think in Australia Virgin. is now also shifting, and I think they shut down their operations, and you only have one major airline left in Australia. Anyways, let's look at Philippine airline companies. This is Pallet Holdings. If you notice it, the difference between PAL, there was no steep breakdown. But if you notice also from where it was before, the highest point, March, more than a year ago already, somewhere here, Feb 2019, largest drop was around 66%. Here, dropped, it's still down more than half, no? For Cebu Pacific, the largest budget carrier in the country, for Cebu Pac, from September 2019, largest drop is around 63%. From that same area, it's still down around 50% today. So, for those wanting to know the support and resistance for Cebu Pacific, you could actually peg it from this. Uh-huh. So, for Cebu Pacific, support is at 47, resistance is at the 53 peso level. And if you'll try to put this here, you will see that the stock is essentially still on a downtrend, and that's how basic the market will be, no, over the next months until there. I said this in a previous video that there's two types of buyers. Number one, people who want to buy stocks low. These are the people who started to buy here. What we're waiting to see are people who want to buy it higher because they either, number one, see growth that's happening, or number two, they feel that the risk, the fear is over already. That sentiment wise, it's much better. So same is true with Cebu Pacific and other stocks that we've been analyzing. That if it fails to somehow get out of this range, you can just expect that the movement will either be in this larger range. If it's not in this larger range, it will just move in this tinier range as well. But it, anyways, if it breaks out from this 53 peso level, I think the next target spot for it to go is it will just break out from this, and it will try to go to the 72 peso level. That's very far. Where we need more people wanting to buy it higher for that to actually happen, and that may mean uh, lesser bad news. That may mean also that when in times of uncertainty, you have people willing to buy it, or in times of uncertainty being gone, there's more clarity for investors to start to come in. So there, I made videos on pure gold. Now that I mentioned, pure gold is one of the largest beneficiaries of this lockdown because people will be shifting their spending from luxuries, from trips into more essential items. And you already see it naman eh. Comment below if your mindset about things, your outlook about life has started to shift ever since this pandemic happened. What do I mean by all of this? Uh, you notice that people right now are not really looking at magkano kikitain nila for this time. People are looking at and focusing on ano yung cash na pwede kong makuha ngayon, so that regardless of the uncertainty that happens, I will stay afloat. And even for large conglomerates, that has been the theme as well. But if that's happening on a personal level, you can expect people to just basically buy just the bare essentials, especially for people that na-experience nila gaano kasakit yung what's happening right now, how big of a hit that they're experiencing. For people who are experiencing that, they're the ones who will basically shift the way where their money will go, and the way they will also save and invest. Those who don't have emergency funds right now, for sure yan, they'll be the ones who will try to make sure that they will have as much as possible na cash, so that when times like this will happen, they will be okay. Just so you know, pure gold is still bullish, but it's consolidating in its highs already. For those who attended our Stock Smarts trainings, what I'm gonna do, what I normally talk about is there's two types of consolidations. One is a consolidation happening in its lows, which majority of the market is doing, and for pure gold, it's consolidating in its highs, which is it's ranging from 45.6 to a resistance of 47.3. So that's a very thin range that pure gold is going after. If it breaks past the 47 level, then these are the next target prices that pure gold could possibly go to: 49, then you have 51, then you have 53. So those are the target prices. You can write it down, you can jot it down from that perspective. And what's interesting also for pure gold is if I try to connect it here, it has already gotten out of this. Let me connect this properly. It has already gone out of this long downward channel, and even this one, if I just connect Let me fix it. Let me fix. Sorry about that. Hmm. What's happening? There. I'll fix it. Tinanggal ko na lang lahat. So, if you connect all of this, you see that it's already out. If you connect also this, you see that it's also out from this particular downtrend. So, one thing is very, very interesting about pure gold is as long as it's out of the downtrend, then it has a larger shot. It has a larger chance to start to push up. So, even if I zoom out from this area, you will see that one of the largest resistances that it must cover and break out from is this 52.953 peso level. If it breaks past that, then we might see pure gold also move to greater heights as well. But let's see, and I'll keep updating you in this when all is said and done. Comment below if you are learning. I want to look at another grocery department store supermarket, MRSGI. So if you look at MRSGI, same thing. It's pushing. No, it actually has pushed higher faster than other stocks. Also, it's up from its lowest, no, 64%. If other stocks have started to uh, drop, oversold levels bounce, then start to consolidate. Metro Gaisano, has started to not just bounce, but it has also started to continue to push up. It hasn't consolidated yet. One thing I'll point out though is the next possible resistance for Metro Gaisano will be at around the 2.1 level, which is already close, no? It's close already to where the 200-day moving average is. If you're trying to see bullishness, it broke past this level. It broke past the 20-day moving average. You have a cross also here from two moving averages already. Then you also have, if I'll draw a line here, a breakout from this particular area. So things are much better from a chart perspective for Metro Gaisano. Then you also see MACD above the 0 point level as well. So couple of things. If breakout from 2.1 level, next target price for Metro Gaisano will be 2.31. Breakout from the 2.31 level, next target price is the 2.6 level. Again, Metro Quezano, supermarket, again, selling the bare essentials. The ones that are selling the bare essentials, the ones that people need, are the ones that will benefit in this new era that we are in. I want to talk about Robinson's Retail also. Though they have a department store similar to Metro Quezano, but they also have supermarkets. And if you notice it, that's a prevailing theme. Supermarkets are doing massively well. If you look at its upward movement, it's already up by 50+% from its lowest point. Now, allow me to zoom in. It's moving in a very, very good and steady upward trend, a good counter trend. You're seeing the low starting to increase, which depicts some sort of bullishness also for the stock. And if you allow me to project this short downward move, this is also broken. And if I try to put support here, resistance here, support here, resistance here, then you could put something around this level. So for Robinson's Retail, it's starting its own counter trend, starting its own upward counter trend, but it's now floating at the new support level at 65.5. Couple of things that I'd like to note right now is similar to MRSGI, similar to Pure Gold, it's already above MACD. Couple of things you need to know also is that if Robinson's Retail stays above the 65.5 level, the next resistances you need to watch out for 68.8, then somewhere around the 72 to around 73 level, which is where the resistance that I drew, plus the 200-day moving average, which is a very, very strong moving average. So you see, the charts are a reflection of people's behavior. The charts are a reflection of people's sentiment. The charts are a reflection of what you think investors believe will not just do well, but will thrive in this new era. So if you notice how you analyze it, you don't need to be an expert in supermarkets. You don't need to be an expert in the macroeconomy. You don't need to be an expert in the pandemic. All you need to know and all you need to look at is how these charts get affected by people's sentiment. Because at the end of the day, that's what technical analysis is. Technical analysis is basically just charts that people, is basically past prices plotted into charts that how people react, people respond is what you see and what will be reflected in the stock prices that you're trying to analyze in certain degrees and certain aspects. I also want to talk about oil companies. A lot of you guys have been requesting for oil companies, so let's look at Petron. If you look at Petron, it's basically consolidating already. You see the support level here, the 3.19. You can peg it at 3.20. So one thing that you need to watch out for is if Petron fails to stay above the 3.19 level, then there's a shot no that it could either go back here, close to where the 20 and 50-day moving average is. That's the 2.9 level. So failure to go above this level may result into a movement downward for Petron. As you notice it also, it's close to the 100-day moving average, and you still have the 200-day moving average. If you allow me to zoom out, it's still massively, massively, massively in a downtrend. So there's still no recovery for Petron as of this point in time. But one of the things that we're seeing here, one of the things that is so interesting for Petron is basically similar to what's happening in the market. It hit an oversold level and it started to bounce from that particular region and that particular point. So it has a lot of moving averages that it needs to break still for it to continue to go up. But MACD is already showing you also that's way above zero. So number one, breakout from the 3.2 level will bring it here. Breakout from the 100-day level will bring it somewhere close to 3.9 peso range. So comment below and I'll just keep on making video for you guys as well. So Petron, I want to talk about Shell too, Pilipinas Shell. So at least we go full circle no, with at least the bigger companies in the market. Then you have Shell, very, very consistent. It's also massively in a downtrend. If you recall, uh, when it did an IPO. I've been saying this, you can reference all of the IPO videos that I made. One of the reasons why Shell went into an IPO was it just wanted to comply with the government regulations, which was part of the oil deregulation law in the 90s. So when you go into an IPO, you really want companies that are expanding it, will use the money well, no, that it's not just they're not just doing it because they want to pay off debt. They're not just selling secondary shares. They're not just doing it for compliance purposes. But basically, you want majority of the money to go to for pure expansion. So if you notice, way even before the coronavirus happened, even before the lockdown happened, uh, Shell is already in a massive downtrend. So a bearish stock will continue to go down until something shifts. A bearish stock will continue to go down until something changes in it in terms of its narrative. So until we see Shell actually, or we see a reversal from this massive downtrend that started at some point in 2016 after its IPO, we can't really see it start to reverse up. The difference between Shell and other companies is that other companies, after hitting oversold levels, have started to bounce and consolidate. For Shell, it just consolidated. It has not bounced at any point. But the level of support set around the 17 peso level, target price around the 19.8. So as it hits 17, it becomes a buying area. If it does not hold 17, please make sure you should not own the stock either. You should not buy it if you have cash and have not bought it yet. Or if you own it already, it would be prudent to cut loss because it might slide down even further. But if it bounces past 17, next possible target will bring it to the 19.8 to 20 peso mark. Next target prices for that, I'll peg it here. One is around 21.8, then another one is around here, then another one's around the 29.4 level. So those are areas of resistance should you see the bounce start to happen as well. Let's look at Phoenix na rin, no? Para at least we get to complete the ones that sell gasoline here in the Philippines. So you have Phoenix Petroleum. So for Phoenix, as you notice it here, I'll zoom out so you have clarity there. One of the differences between Phoenix and Shell and Petron, Shell and Petron are in massive downtrends. Phoenix, if you look at how this looks, it looks like it's in a very, very long sideways market which started 2017. So as you all know, this is also owned by Dennis Uy. Dennis Uy is Chelsea Logistics. Dennis Uy is Dito fighting for the third telco. They're the ones into the third telco space. So if you notice it, you have a support for Phoenix at 9, then another one at 10. So it bounced from the 9 peso level, broke past 10. It's above already all of the moving averages. Target price that you can peg right now for it. Shorter one, no? I plotted that from a longer perspective, but the shorter target price right now is at the 12 peso mark. So that's where Phoenix is right now. It's upside. It closed last Thursday at 11.57. Target at 12 limits your upside already. Again, the most ideal place to buy it was somewhere here at a support level. If it stayed above this level, it was a buy. Target price was here. As you can see, one day, boom, it moved, then started to go down after selling happened. It's now building a support here. So one thing you can do is wait for the breakout here at 12. And if it breaks out from 12 and it stays above 12, then we may have another upside for it. We may have another move up. Larger move will bring it to 13.44. Shorter term move will probably bring it to 12.66 for the short term. So there. So far now we talked about gasoline stocks, Phoenix, Shell, and Petroleum. We also talked about companies that are highly reliant on gasoline, airline companies, Cebu Pacific, and PAL. Then we've also talked about companies that Filipinos will spend on because of the new normal. I mentioned about grocery stocks, Pure Gold, Robinson's Retail Holdings, and MRSGI. Then I started the video off talking about Warren Buffett. That Warren Buffett right now hasn't really bought a lot of stocks. He has a lot of cash, and he sold down majority of his airline companies even at a loss. And I'll say this over and over. There's a misconception in the stock market that if you're a long-term investor, you do not sell at a loss. You do not cut loss. That's not true. Similar to what Warren Buffett did. If the fundamentals of the company is no longer there, then you have to sell, no matter if it's at a loss, no matter if it's you selling it at a upside or you selling it that you're making money. So again, it's not just traders who sell at the gain. It's not just sell traders selling at a loss when things don't go their way. In investing, when things don't go your way, you also sell, even if it's at a loss, even if it's something that's not working well and doing well for you. If the fundamentals change, the growth change, the dividends change, the company would change. It's not anymore where it was before. You sell and you get away. So Warren Buffett lost 50 billion, I think, US dollars. So if it looking at it from that perspective, his the whatever losses people got during this downturn, it pales in comparison to what Warren Buffett is also losing as well. So there. I hope you guys got a lot from this. As usual, if you guys have any other questions, put your questions in the comment section. Put the stock that you want to know. Then put hashtag stocks by request. If you have a specific question, put it in the comment section. Your question, then hashtag ask Marvin. Then I'll try to make a video on top of that. Couple of things. Number one, I've been getting so many people asking for an online course on REITs. If you are so interested in it, comment REIT below so I can if I can see if there's a large interest. I'll make an online course for that. I'm thinking maybe 2 to 3 hours worth of basics of REITs, what differentiates it from other investments, how can you get started, how do you earn from it. I've been investing in REITs, by the way, since 2013. No, not in Philippine markets, but outside the Philippines, and it's been a good experience for me. It's something that that's why I got so excited when people talked about it, that there's a chance that it would be that there would be REITs in the Philippines, because I think it's a really good source also of revenue for people who want to get into it. So there. Then second and third online course is I have Make Money Grow Money. It's the basics of business. It's the basics of stock market with Sean Si. So the link is in the description. We're gonna break everything down to you in a way that it teaches you, know, how you can trade and how you can start a business on your own. So that's with Sean C. Then another one, Tagalog naman with Chinkitan. It's called Stock Market for Everyone. It's a Tagalog version of me talking about the stock market para sa mga gustong matuto sa wikang Tagalog. Then, for those who want to uh, learn via books, I have 5 books. They're in Shopee. The link is in the description. It can be delivered to wherever you are in the country. If you're not from the country, or you are not from where Shopee normally delivers, there's another link beside it. You can click that and it can deliver to any part in the world, as long as also the courier has coverage in that area. And I don't know, because of this lockdown, I have more time, so I'm thinking about writing an ebook. Comment below if you want me to write an ebook. Comment below if you're gonna read it, if it's an ebook and not just a hard copy of whatever book that I'm writing. But most likely it will be a new book. So there. What else I want to say? I guess that's it. Looking back from what Warren Buffett did, Warren Buffett lives and dies by his conviction. Warren Buffett lives and dies. Even though he may have lost money, he follows his own analysis. And that's what's so true at this year, at this point, and where we are. You have to follow your conviction. You have to follow what works for you. You have to do what works for you. Stop listening to everyone else, because if you follow what everyone else is doing, you will end up like everyone else. You have to do you. You have to be someone who's doing the opposite of what majority of people are doing. And I want you guys to be profitable. I want you not just to listen to what I say, but I want you to analyze, study, research, reference, and make the best out of this time, because I really believe that this is still one of the greatest times to be alive. This is one of the greatest times to invest. This is one of the greatest times to make money. And I really do hope that this channel is something that's adding tremendous value for you. And I super appreciate it if you could like, share, subscribe this video. If you got a lot from this, appreciate if you could press a thumbs up, because it helps in the YouTube algorithm to show this video to more and more people. So that's it for now. Marvin Germo. I hope this video helps you. By the way, after this, there will be another video coming out 9 p.m. I have a guest, a fund manager, where he's gonna talk about his principles, his strategies, and he's gonna talk about something very unique. If you're excited about it, he's gonna say that do not buy stocks yet. He said wait until August, September, October before you start coming in. If you want to know more, that's coming up at 9 p.m. So again, this is Marvin Gerbo. I hope this video helps you trade well, trade strong, trade smart. See you all again soon, guys, and God bless you all.